Hello, little friends. Welcome to Han Tin Truyen No. Today, we have a wonderful story just for you, full of fun adventure and maybe even a little lesson to learn. Are you ready? Let's begin. Once upon a snowy winter, a queen sat by her window, sewing. She pricked her finger, and 3 drops of blood fell onto the snow.
I wish I had a daughter with skin white as snow, lips red as blood, and hair black as ebony.
Not long after, her wish came true. She gave birth to a baby girl and named her Snow White. But sadly, the queen passed away soon after. Later, the king married again. His new queen was beautiful, but proud and cruel. As Snow White grew more beautiful, the queen grew more jealous. One day, she asked her magic mirror,
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
Snow White is the fairest of them all. The queen's heart burned with envy. The jealous queen ordered a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. But when he saw her innocence, his heart softened.
Run, child. Hide. Never return to the castle.
Snow White fled into the dark forest, tears streaming down her face. Snow White wandered through the dark forest, frightened by strange sounds and shadows. After hours, she saw a tiny cottage hidden among the trees. Inside the cottage, Snow White saw tiny chairs, little beds, and a messy kitchen. She tidied up and fell asleep. That evening, 7 dwarfs returned and were surprised to find her there.
Who is this girl sleeping in our beds?
Back at the castle, the queen stood before her magic mirror once again.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
Snow White, who lives with the 7 dwarfs, is still the fairest of them all. Furious, the queen disguised herself as an old woman and set off into the forest with silken lace. She knocked on the dwarf's cottage.
Laces for sale. Beautiful laces.
Snow White opened the door. Curious, the queen offered to lace Snow White's corset and pulled it tighter and tighter until Snow White collapsed. Hearing Snow White still lived, the queen grew even angrier. She disguised herself again, this time bringing a poison comb.
Lovely combs for pretty hair.
Snow White, unaware of the danger, let the woman in. As soon as the queen placed the comb in her hair, Snow White collapsed once more. The queen asked the mirror again, and it still said Snow White was the fairest. Furious, she disguised herself as an old woman and offered Snow White a poison apple.
One bite, and all your dreams will come true.
Snow White bit the apple and collapsed to the ground. The dwarfs found Snow White lying still, the apple beside her. Thinking she was gone, they built a glass coffin and placed her inside, unable to say goodbye. One day, a young prince passed by the forest and saw Snow White lie in a glass coffin. Moved by her beauty and sadness, he gently leaned down and kissed her. Magically, her eyes fluttered open. Snow White had come back to life. When the queen learned Snow White was still alive and marrying the prince, she was furious. But her evil deeds were revealed, and she was banished from the kingdom.
This cannot be. I am the fairest of them all.
She had no choice but to leave, alone and defeated. A grand wedding was held in the castle. Snow White and the prince stood before the people, glowing with joy.
I promise to protect and cherish you forever.
Cheers filled the air as they became husband and wife. Snow White and the prince lived happily in the castle, surrounded by love and laughter. The 7 dwarfs often visited, bringing joy and stories.
This is the life I've always dreamed of.
And so, they lived happily ever after. And that's the end of our story, little friends. Did you have fun? We can't wait to see you again for another magical tale. Hauntin Triano is a special place where stories come to life and imagination soars. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss any new adventures. See you next time.